ready for it. We're going to be live now. Hey guys and girls, welcome to our Tuesday night chats. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I have a returning.
That was a good hair flick, wasn't it? Actually, really went round.
Yeah. It's maybe I'll get there next year with my rap style. Yeah.
Oh, you'll be able to flick it now. Flick it. No, you had to use the hand.
Oh, like
yes.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There we go. I've got the purple shirt. I've got the pink hair tie. I've got the pink and purpley shorts.
You're very coordinated till you get to the flip flops.
Yeah, well.
They're black. We need pink ones. Or blue.
No. I try to colour match and make things cool, but I just like black thongs because you get colour. I actually have the same colour thongs as these, but they get dirty very easy. You live on a farm.
Probably clean your feet.
No, I clean them all the time. I get pedicures and manicures and everything. So, but look, we've got lots of people on, so yeah. let's get into it. So, thanks for tuning in. This is one of our last Facebook Lives for the year. We'll have another one next week where I'm going to be reviewing a video with some important information in it, and I'll be walking through it and sharing with you my thoughts as we enter into the end of the year. But tonight we have returning guest speaker Gemma, and we've got a few questions for Gemma because people they like to get to know who they're dealing with as a part of the B.Invested community. So I've got a few questions here. Oh, no pressure. Tell us something that the audience doesn't know about you. I've got my team. Hey?
This is the one question that's been freaking me out. I don't know, because all that triggers to me is like deepest, darkest secrets that I should not be sharing on a Facebook Live.
It's probably just something that you think could be beneficial. How could someone benefit by listening to you today and go, wow, that really inspired me or something? I don't know. You came here 2.5, 3 years ago to the business, shit broke, $1,000 or something, ready to pack it in. And you
ready to get my bags and go home.
And you've got a property portfolio now, right? There's lots of things people may not know about you. There's lots of good things you do. It doesn't
I literally just finished making my own drum.
Drum?
It's called a djembe. We would call it a bongo. Look, I've got an actual wound.
Wow.
That's why I was running late.
You've been playing the bongos or something.
Yeah.
So
yes.
What got you into the bongos?
I actually started. I came across this it's like a group that's like spiritualism and meditation, quite a bit Byron Bay.
Okay.
And they were like, "Hey, we've got this African musician that sings and plays drums, all his instruments. Do you want to play drums?" So we.
There you go. Go on the bongos.
And now actual wounds. So it's in the car.
Yeah.
I should have brought it on and done a little. I'm actually not very good.
Well, okay, there we go. We've got it committed. Next year, Gemma's going to play the bongos as an intro, right? Let's do a bongo, right?
No!
It'll be good. We'll hold you to it.
Oh, okay.
So we know that you play the bongos, you've learnt the bongos, you've made yourself a bongo. A bongo is in the drum, not a bongo is in like anything else.
Absolutely
not.
No,
bongo, okay. And then, and we'll play it next year for everyone. We'll do a little ensemble. You probably shouldn't have told anyone that, should we?
No, I should have led with I don't know. No, anyway, carry on. No.
Here's another question. What are the biggest decisions you've made over the last year? You got lots of them.
The biggest decisions over the past year.
Yeah.
To keep buying more properties. That was actually a big decision because I thought I would just do one.
You actually got scared, like throughout your journey. Like you were like, there's times where you're like, "Fuck, I'll push myself too hard," and and it's cool for learning that too because
I freaked the fuck out. It's really.
You freak the fuck out after you've made like hundreds of thousands of equity as well. Like it's.
I know, but it's one of those. Sometimes I actually said this in an email today to someone that they were getting. I think you were in the email, and they were getting really scared. Okay. And they were talking to the broker, but I jumped in to say, look, even I freak out, and I work here. Yeah. Like, what does that tell you? So, I do freak out. Yeah. But I think the decision is to keep going, even though I'm like, Nathan, I need you to sell everything, and I'm running back to the UK.
You're really stressed. Like, she's got a hair tie here. She got off the table, and she's like really stressed.
Okay, no, we're not.
So
stressed.
then the next one, I actually thought of something that people may not know about you, right? You love dogs, don't you?
I think everyone in the entire world knows.
No, but you've got like 20,000 people that could be watching that may not realise that you love dogs. And you
love dogs.
Looking after dogs.
Yes.
And you just got a dog.
I recently adopted my dog.
That was your goal.
Yay.
That was your goal. You got a dog.
Yeah, I got my dog, so I ticked that goal off.
There we go.
I'm a dance teacher.
I didn't know that.
There you go. Now you do.
There we go.
I have a law degree.
There you go.
Did you know that?
You've said it, but now that you've said it,
did you even look at my resume?
No.
No.
No, I don't do that stuff. Cool. Yeah. And cool. So big decisions to keep pushing forward.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel the biggest opportunities in the market or the industry would be at the moment?
Biggest opportunity. It's going to sound really cliched, but the opportunity to keep buying.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people have been scared by the interest rates, which maybe 6 months ago we could kind of hold on to the deals.
Yeah.
But we are losing deals left, right, and centre, which is really frustrating. But the opportunity is that we get it so cheap.
Yeah.
You've got to jump on it, otherwise you're going to lose it tomorrow.
So it's probably been like 5 today.
Stop.
Gemma said she came in and I was like, "How's your day going? What deals have we done? And who's on the deals that I've bought?" And she said, "Oh, one of the deals we lost." And I was like, "No, I've got a spare one." So you've got to call that person for that deal.
I'll call them on the way home.
On the way home. But
while we sat there looking at the phones, who's lost the deal?
The media says, "Oh, property prices are crashing," and I feel like there's a divide out there. But we are losing at least 20 deals a week where people have signed a contract, they've paid the deposit, we've negotiated the deal, and they're 5 minutes too late. And it's just, the price range between 100,000 and 400,000 is very, very active at the moment. There's not many things, and my view on that, Gemma, is I've seen this happen a lot over the years, is that there's not many places that'll pay a yield. There's a lot of risky markets out there. And I'll talk about the Dow Jones today, I'll talk about the stock markets, I'll talk about a few things like that, but people want somewhere to get a good return. And if you can get something for 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand a year, 300 grand, and get an 8, 10, 12% yield, then nothing's paying that. And for it to be safe in a high rental increasing market, inflationary environment, property, I've always said that the property portfolios I build are not sexy, they're not flash, but they're very fundamental and they're recession proof. And these are the sort of times where they really take off, and that's why we're seeing those properties take off now, because we're entering into that sort of market. So
I actually said to a prospective client today, I didn't realise I'd said something during our discovery session that was kind of off the cuff, and then he put it in an email, like, "Can you explain what you mean?" And I'd actually said that the property is not the asset, it's actually the debt, and it wasn't something that I'd actively thought of before. And then when he was like, "Can you explain it?" and I was like, well, I actually can. I thought I won't be able to, but it is. Like, if the bank's still giving you money, take the money.
The debt is the asset.
The debt is the asset.
That's the asset.
Because
you've got that debt, which is the asset here, and then you've got an item that you can commoditize on top of the debt,
but
and that gets inflated away.
3 of my properties, I put none of my money into it. So somebody else is paying for the property, and then somebody else is paying off somebody else's
You've
money.
Outsourced it. You've outsourced your debt.
And there's still a cash flow afterwards.
It's like air tasking your debt.
Yeah. And it's those moments where I think, do you know, like, you always hear the same things, like, making your money work for you. And it wasn't until I said that I was like, oh my God, that's what it literally means. Like, it's, you're putting it somewhere else to, but the
OPM,
property.
Other people's money. That's what's
and
called.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely fine with that.
So, cool. If you could go back a year ago and hop in the DeLorean with Marty McFly, what advice, and go at 88 miles an hour, the Back to the Future.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
Generational gap, it's okay.
Really? It's not bad. Fuck.
I thought I'd give you a complex, it's fine.
That's okay. What piece of advice would you give yourself from a year ago for the old version of Gemma from the year?
A polite way of saying it would be to just do it and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, but I was very nervous and comfortable in comfort.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes I freak out a lot and I get inside my own head. I think sometimes you need someone to say, just shut the fuck up. Just effectively. Yes, I know. I knew you were gonna say that. And it's literally shut the fuck up.
And sometimes I tell you shut the fuck up, and then you're like, but no, Nathan, no. And then, like,
I know, but then you shout, and you never shout.
Really?
And you get quite arsey about it. You're like, just fucking sign the contract. I'm like, okay. I have no idea what I'm signing. I don't read the contracts. I don't read my loan documents.
Not even that. Like, it's like there's been times we just have chats about things. Oh fuck, it's okay. It's all right. It's all good.
But I know when you know I'm freaking out because you're very, very calm and you're like, oh, it's up to you. Do what you want.
Yeah, because I'm not going to tell you. I'm not there to push it. You do it.
I know, but yeah, no. I think to tell myself a year ago, I just shut the fuck up and get on with it.
And you grow. You grow. Josh just said, watch Back to the Future. It's a great movie. Here in Australia, every year, you'd watch it 3 times a year on Channel 10 throughout the year, like before Foxtel and all that. And you just, yeah. But that's cool. That's cool. And like, I think when I look back to previous years and version of myself, always, if I found that people ask me that question, I think if I found the old version of me, I'd find myself and fucking slap myself, because I'd be like, because I think that the older version is the uneducated version, and you can teach yourself stuff from back in the past. So not that I was doing wrong things, but you can always go back and go, like, it's like something that you do today, like naturally, right? Like driving a car, right? Imagine the first time you hop to the car, like, oh, I'm going to run into the fucking, I can imagine, right?
I burst my wheel 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. And you'd be like, I'm going to run into a wall or something like that. But now you just, oh, fuck, I'll put the window down, eat my cheeseburger, whatever.
I dance in the car.
There you go.
Yeah, it's quite dangerous.
But it's like, your confidence level grows, but it's only from knowledge and only from education and learning stuff. And the limiting beliefs of the monkey on your shoulder can hold you back, like your self-doubt, your self-talk and all that. So the things that, there's times I'm worried about it, buying a property for 200 grand and I didn't do the deals, they're worth $1 million today. And I was scared because the interest rates are something stupid. And it's like, I pay more a month in interest than what that fucking property was now, right? And it's like funny when you look back at that. Like the stamp duty I've paid this year would be like, when I was working in a job, right? When I was working in a job, the money that I would have earned in a year, in 10 years of me working a job, I've spent this year on stamp duty. Right? When you think about that, it's kind of fucked, right? The things that you'd think about and how you perceive things. Like 2 years ago.
I don't respect money. I never respected money anywhere because when I left England and I'm now working in a different currency, Australian dollar it's not money to me. Yeah. Now I go home to England and I'm like, well, what's this? So I actually have no concept of real money, and that's only gotten worse with what I do, because someone would be like, oh, I don't want to lose $1,000. I don't want to lose the building and pressure part. It's $600. Get over it. It's not. Exactly. That's it. It's just no respect for the money.
Like everything is free, right? So if you just think about it this way, I heard someone talk about this on Instagram the other day. Everything is free, right? Your house is free, your marriage is free, your car is free, your office is free. Everything's free, right? People are willing to swap 30 years of okay, how is money made? Right? How is money made, right? The money that we use. They're literally digits that you go to the bank and they go, oh, we'll just print them out of the middle of nowhere, right? They make this money out of anywhere. They're just digits, right? You don't even fucking see anything for it. No gold, no silver, no nothing, right? So they're literally digits. Someone's willing to swap 30 years of their fucking life, right, for some other fucker to go and push digits, right, on the back, and they accept that. So as long as you can create that, right? Yeah. You're getting everything for free, right? When you realize the money doesn't exist, and for you to generate like currency being money, I don't like calling it money, but just for everyone else, but like it's currency, right? And the difference between currency and money is currency is real and money is just money is real and currency is not. But literally, how do they make money? They create debt and they issue it via bonds. So money is debt. People think that money is real. Money is debt.
Paper
right?
contract, isn't it?
It's just a debt. It's just a debt contract. It's a debt instrument, and they print money, and it's just lent out as loans, and then they have to print more money and more money and more money to pay the interest on that money, right? So if there was a first year, let's just say that money was created this year, and they created $1 million, right, at a 1% interest rate. So you go, okay, I'm going to pay you back your $1 million at the end of the year, and I need to pay you 1%. So you'd have to pay back $1 million and 10,000, right? Well, they wouldn't have the 10,000 because it wasn't created. You'd have to go back to the bank and get a loan for the $10,000 of interest.
Yep.
Right? And the only way that this system stays alive is that they need to keep printing more money to keep paying for the interest, right? And that's why it goes hockey stick, the amount of money that's being created, because they can't pay off that debt. And that's why we're going to be stuck at low interest rates for, is because if it goes up, everyone goes broke and the whole arse falls out of the system, which kind of takes us on to my news articles of the day as well. But when you do get the realization that money isn't real, everything's free.
Give me a week or two just to.
People are trading. I'll say it again. People are trading a year of their life for 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand, right? They're sacrificing their children. They're sacrificing, their life, their hobbies, and their time that they can never get back for money, right? And that money goes to buy you shit, whatever it is in your life. But the people that create the money are literally just pushing a digit and go, okay, we'll create it from nothing, right? So if someone's willing to trade, let's say you have a house for $1 million, right? And if it costs $1 million, someone has to fucking sit out in the sun, fucking chop bricks up, put them in, concrete them, fucking cut their hands apart. Don't worry about your fucking pink nails and your fucking bongo drums. People literally, they're breaking their bones to build a house, right? And they're all coming together to get 50 grand, 100 grand a year. But someone's just printing it up. They're just pushing buttons. It never existed. You can get it like that. So when you understand that money's not real and it's all debt, then is the debt real, right? It's all just made up stuff.
It's just a game.
It's just a game. And when you realize that, the whole paradigm changes, right? Because then you're not affected. I'm here to collect assets. That's what I do. I collect assets every day, every fucking day. The money doesn't exist. It all just digits. They can turn it off like a button, but they can't take away, all my little hobby things that I have that have, a value attached to them. I don't have anything here. There's nothing really exciting here. Like a little silver bar. Here's a silver bar, right? This is something good, right? There's a little silver bar. But
there'll be some on there. There'll be some on there, no doubt.
Yeah, there's little bits and pieces laying around, but people literally, they can't take that away. So the currency has no value.
No.
And that's a big paradigm shift. So on that note, if we've got currency that's worthless, if we've got, the world is fake and all this sort of stuff, let's go through and have a look at some of these articles that I've got today. So I've got interest rates that have gone up this year. Interest rates at the start of this year were 10 basis points, and now interest rates are at 310 basis points. They've gone up 3% in the last 6 months. What does that do to all the bonds that are rolling over? What does it do to inflation? I believe that we're going to start seeing some interesting news articles coming out, and I've got a couple of them here which are, I'll just circle them here off the news. This one here is from Reuters. Bond investors expect smaller Fed hike, but brace for inflation. Then here we go, you got Financial Times. Investors prepare for slowing global interest rate rises, right? Everyone's like, I'm scared of interest rates, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Are you gone? And then the money, who cares? You paid 3%, you're paying 2%. Who cares, right? It's all free. It's all free, right? People are scared because they're getting shit for free, right? Oh, I've only got fucking one free fucking lolly, not 2 free lollies. It's like, come on, right? It's all free. So we're looking at news coming out. If you type in, interest rates, Federal Reserve, the US Federal Reserve is meeting this week, I think on Wednesday, so tomorrow, and they'll be announcing a rate hike, right? But their number, which all the markets are factoring in, will have 6% inflation, not 7%. So what has happened in the last 24 hours is that the Dow Jones has gone up 500 points, right? On the GFC, 500 points is fucking massive for the Dow got, right? We haven't seen interest rates drop. We haven't seen anything happen yet, but the Dow Jones just almost went to an all-time high, right? So imagine what will happen when they start reducing rates next time. We've now got a property boom happening. Everyone's expecting a property market to crash. We've got a property boom happening in a lot of markets, and we haven't even seen rates drop. We've seen rates going up.
But how do they explain that?
What do you mean?
So you're talking about the mainstream media, right? And everyone's expecting it to crash, and everyone's opinion comes to the mainstream media. How do people explain what's actually happening?
Well, that's what I try to do with these videos.
Yeah, but does the media come out and say Like, how did they go from saying, nah, it's going to crash,
They just make up something. They say Corona did it. They say Ukraine did it. They say fucking Asians did it in China, stopping everything. Like, they make up a story, right? Back in the early 2000s, it was, Al Qaeda that did it. It was this that did it. There's all these things that have been blamed on, right? And you go and look at it, and it's like, hang on a second, that's one side of the story, right? But what else is happening, right? Who owns the media? Well, I've been on the media hundreds of times, right? Who owns it, right? What are the companies that own it? Whose agenda is it here? Yeah, it's their propaganda outlet. Looking here to some articles here, here's another one. The market is pricing in a 6 handle on the CPI tomorrow, the 7.3 that is expected, and if it has a 6 handle on it, then that would be a reason enough to get all excited, at least in the short term. So the conversation is now that, maybe we've got inflation under control, but I ain't seeing anything drop in price, right? I just went to buy another car, right? Just a random thing, right? An upgrade of a vehicle somewhere. We've got lots of cars around, right? And there was a vehicle that was purchased last year, identical car, right? Identical car, and it was $63,000. Just got a quote for $76,000 for it, right? 13 grand up, right? Do you want the kicker of it? 18 months wait for it. Right?
What?
18 months wait for it,
Is
right?
it second hand or brand new?
Brand new, right? Waiting for a car for 8 months. Do I drive that one around and get it back? No, it's a new car, right? So whilst everyone's waiting for inflation to drop, like 60k, 63 to 78k, that's a 20% increase of that car, right? Identical car, 1 year later, right? Go and look up, like, you've seen those little pink cars that drive around, the blink cars, right? I need to get a new fleet of them at some point. They're really bad, right? They're really bad, right? So these cars, you can't buy a brand new the shittest shit car is an MG3, right? An MG3, and they are like 19 grand, and last year they were 17 grand, right? And it's just like, well, that's gone up 10%, right? It doesn't matter what you look at, whether you look at your food or whatever. So where are they getting the figure from that, it's only gone up by 7%, right?
Well,
it's only gone up by 6%.
I'm not sure if I missed them, but yeah.
So imagine when all the costs of these things go up. The shipping costs have gone up. Whatnot.
And then do they come down?
What's that?
The prices.
Well, they do in a depression or a recession, but if they come down, then everyone's going to go broke because they're not going to have enough money to pay all the wages that have gone up.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a spiral. So they have to keep printing this shit. They have to keep the Ponzi scheme alive. It's not someone's house. No. Like, it's not anything like that. It's the governments that are going to go broke. It's the corporations that are going to go broke. It's the manufacturers that are going to go broke. It's the mining companies going to go broke. It's the power stations going to go broke.
Building,
yeah.
Builders.
They go broke every day. Saw another one yesterday, gone broke. So, takes me on to this article, which is kind of funny, right? This guy here, some people might say he's an attractive old man. He looks like Sean Connery, I don't know. He is working for the fucking devil. I don't know. I just feel like giving the guy a knife before I take off the gloves and punch him in the head, right?
Let's just get straight to that bit.
Yeah, well, this guy is Jerome Powell. He's a Fed chairman from the US, so he's like the RBA of America. And he's come out and says here, it is now clear that QE was a colossal policy mistake. I told everyone in March 2020 when I fucking laughed and I said, this is great. It's actually the words that I used. It is not the problem that's going to be it's not the problem that's the issue. It is the treatment for the problem, right? It's the treatment, it's the cure for this, which is easing of monetary policy. It is the printing of money, which will cause the big issue, right? And here we are. And now these so-called experts that got out going, we're going to print money, He's going to have to find a new issue. The climate change, the fucking green power, the solar panels, Ukraine war, that caused some issues. Like, fuck, like if anyone thought of a way of washing money, the greatest way of washing money, you'd start a war in the bloody other part of the world and you'd send all your money over there and have a way of washing that money through there. And if anyway, I don't want to get into politics here. But don't want to get into politics, right? There's no convincing evidence that central banks' purchase of trillions of dollars of bonds and other financial assets helped any economy, right? So let's just go back, right? There is no convincing evidence that central banks' purchase of trillions of dollars of bonds. What is the bonds that we were talking about before, right? Money is created via issuing bonds, right? If you take that money away from the table, everything drops back to where it was. So if they created $1 trillion and they take the $1 trillion away, well, then you're going to be worse off because everyone's now stuck at the paying this high level. They have to throw more money at it. And more money, it's like having a 10 grand credit card you can't pay for, so you get a 100 grand credit card, you just keep adding zeros to it.
Yeah.
People are fucking working their whole lives adding zeros. It's like, who cares? It's free.
But isn't this what happened in 2008?
That was a smaller Ponzi scheme. It just got packaged up. Oh, it was this thing's problem, right? It was that thing. This time, this is a global problem, right? This thing's a global problem. The great quantitative easing experiment was a mistake. It's time central banks acknowledge it for the failure and retire it from their policy of arsenal as soon as they are able. Well, they can't retire it. They're trying now to change course of monetary direction, and we're seeing a massive recession, which I haven't called yet, but it's here. Like, go to any shopping centre, see what's happening out. There's massive recession. Since the global financial crisis of 2008, thanks, Jimmy, you're already reading this article you haven't even seen yet.
I didn't, but go ahead.
No, I know you haven't, but I just... An integral part of central banks' playbook in the US, the UK and European Union has been QE, the practice of buying up long-term bonds and mortgage-backed securities, which is So basically, what happens is when you go to get a mortgage, right? Let's say, for instance, you go into one of the big banks and you go, hey, can I have a loan? The bank doesn't go, oh, I'm going to go get everyone's money from out the back. Everyone thinks, oh, they've got the money fucking sitting there. They don't, right? What they do is they go, you sign this death contract, mortgage, right, which is Latin for death contract, right? It's serious, look it up, Latin. So they get you on a mortgage, you sign it up, and it says, hey, I'm going to buy this thing. It's a big fat contract, don't read all the parts to it. You sign 30 years, you get $1 million, $500,000, whatever. Then what they do is they go out the back, they take that piece of paper, they put it in the bond pile, they go and get the money which they have, and they go, there's $1 million, right? You then go and buy the property, you've created $1 million worth of debt by executing that right from the bank. Then let's say that I'm selling you the property, which I wouldn't because I don't like selling properties, but let's say I'm selling you the property, I bought it for 200 grand, I owe 100 grand, let's say. You buy it for $1 million. I pay out my debt of $1 million, I have 100 grand, I have 900 grand now. Whatever I spend that on is creating money in the economy, right? So what do they do? What does the bank do with that $1 million loan? Well, they wait for 1,000 of them to go, and they go, there's $1 billion. They strap the $1 billion worth of loans together, and they sell it as a collateralized debt obligation, right? A CDO. And they basically, they can lend up. I was talking to a banker the other day from one of the big global banks, and I was like, hey, look, I want to do some business with you. He's like, oh, I only deal with businesses that do like $50 million in profit or that. And he's talking about a bank. And they lend on fucking airports, right? They lend on all different things, right? I'm talking, I imagine having $1 billion airplanes flying in the sky all day. They're the assets, right? They're attached to mortgages. All the airplane companies have mortgages against their planes, right? You don't realise that, right? So they package up the bonds. They go, okay, this bank has a loan book of $1 billion. We will buy that off you. And we'll lend you based on that, and we'll give you a 98% LVR. So you hand over $1 billion worth of mortgages, and then they give you at a rate of the bond, which could be 2%, 3%, whatever it is at the day, and then they will hand over $980 million, and then you go and pimp that money out again, and you write more loans. So that's how the bank works, in short. So they just print this shit. They don't have it. This is made up. So as long as people can go and sign those mortgage contracts, and if something goes wrong, well, then all those mortgage contracts become worthless. Right? So it's a big toxic waste pile over here of dodgy paperwork, financial crimes, which have caused for all these things to happen. And if that blew up, everyone's dead.
We're all fucked.
Everyone's fucked. So how can they fix that? Is that they just print over it. They go, okay, well now the new price is $1 billion for a mortgage. Everyone go, I'll just add extra zero, who cares? It's all right, I've still got my food, still got my house, still got this. But no one, I'll tell you, no one's life is better every year that goes by because they're getting more and more and more control over people.
You're cheerful, aren't you?
Merry Christmas, everybody. Basically here this article says the practice of buying up the long-term bonds and mortgage-backed securities, QE is supposed to work by lowering the long-term interest rates, which boost demand and increase lending and risk-taking. So basically they've done this, but now they're trying to go to quantitative tightening. So they're saying we're going to blow them all up, but they can't. They haven't even started it. And I'm waiting for the bonds to mature that used to be at 10 basis points, and I want to see them mature at 310 basis points, because at that point it's gone up 3,000%. 3,000%, right? The bond from 10 basis points to 310. That's 31 times more. Add 2 zeros, 3,100. 3,100%. And no one's looking at it. Everyone's like, oh, interest rates are going to go up. You don't know how it's going to work, right? That's where the fun's at. So here's an article from news.com. We've got something from news.com. We've got some Kim Kardashian style like entertainment for people today, right? News.com. Single mum saves $10,000 on latest interest rate hike, right? So this is interesting. Yeah, like let's read through it and I'll explain it, right? It's just clickbait. It's really just clickbait. It's an ad for someone, really, for a mortgage company.
Is she hot?
Yeah, I think she's a bit milfy. Yeah, she's all right.
I would ask before you did.
Interest rate increase. That's a single mum panic. She's single, by the way. Panic about how to pay her mortgage until she discovered a switch that could buy her some breathing room. The Reserve Bank of Australia announced on Tuesday that interest rate rises for the 8th straight month, an increase that is expected to be passed on by most of the borrowers via a variable home loan. The interest rate rises continue a pattern that began May this year, leading single mum, whatever her name is, to panic about her tightening finances. I just didn't know what was going to do, the school teacher told news.com.au. I've got 3 teenage kids and a single mum, blah, blah. Anyway, let's get down to where it says here. At first, the interest rate increase meant this single mum was paying an extra $100 per month on her mortgage. Then it was $200. Now it's up to around $400 a month, she says in disbelief. It is such a huge source of stress. And the worst thing is no one is going to know where it's to end. If we get an 18% interest rate hikes like we did in the 80s, then what then, right? This is an average family, right? This is an average family. These are the people that are going to get hurt the most, right? So if I was in a financial issue, it would be a big financial issue. If you're in a financial issue, then it will be a big financial issue. But everybody's in a financial issue, right? This is broad range. You have the ability to go and outsource your expenses to your tenant.
We have more options.
You have options. You're pushing the tenant up. The tenant's absorbing that, right? I push my tenant up. All my owners have pushed the tenants up. Right? You've seen discussion this afternoon. We had a meeting with Blink, right?
Yeah.
$100 here, $50 there, all these rents. So she was in a meeting this afternoon with us and all the rents are going up, right? That's great. That's great news.
And it was really, as I was saying, it was really hard because me and all my friends rent. And they'll put it in the girls' chat. Oh my God, my rent's gone up. And it's, oh, that's disgusting. These landlords, they just don't care. And I'm just hovering in the background like, well, I'm doing the same here, to be fair. I'd have to.
No one goes, oh, Gemma, she's a good chick. Let's not increase her mortgage.
The bank's not doing me any favours.
Banks ain't doing you favours. Central banks ain't doing you favours. The bond market isn't doing you favours. It just is what it is. And they are going to keep having to print this. Wait until the middle of next year when the bond markets start to implode. Wait until everyone comes off their fixed loans in March. Wait until there's a lot more of these stories. And this isn't the market. This is the market where people will get impacted, right? So they're going to have to fix these people, like these average, everyday people with their mortgages, that $1 million house with no eaves on it, all that. They're going to have to take care of those people. Everybody's in trouble, right? But then what about people like me and you and all our investors, all our elite little, the 1%ers of Australians that have large property portfolios, that are the dodgy renters, the investors that are pushing the rents up for everyone? Those rents ain't going to come down. Let me tell you that, right? Rents don't come down like that. We're going to see, because everyone else is in trouble, then our expenses are going to drop. The businesses are going to get better rates because the rates on businesses and the bank bill swap rates, which businesses work from, become lower. So these are, I've actually asked my lender, I've got a lender at the moment that I'm buying some stuff through, and you saw them in the office the other day, they came in, and how could say they just come in and say, I need some more money, let's do some more deals.
You seem very nice.
Very nice. Yeah, those are they're the guys from the bank. So they came in, and I said to them, hey, in the mortgage contract, they're like, interest rate's going to go up. This is going to be. I said, no. Can you just put in there a spot price over the cash rate? And they go, okay, we'll do that because I'm taking the bet that the interest rate's going to drop. How good's that? So.
With these though, so she's on about her mortgage going up.
Yeah.
Is there any correlation between? I know that wages are always the last to go up. Or is there a correlation? Say like if inflation's going up by 7%, does history tell us that wages only go up by 5? Or?
So what they've got to do is crash the market. That's why they're trying to keep inflation. They've got to crash the market. But whatever they do, they've gone way too far, right? This is irreparable damage now, right? People don't even realise the amount of damage that's been caused here, right? Because imagine when the government has to take out $1 trillion worth of bonds at 3,000% more, 31 times types. If the government has a bill of $1 billion a year, right, of interest, that the bill's now got from $1 billion to $30 billion. Yeah, that's to be really clear, right? So when these things start imploding, that's when it's going to get really fun, right? They have to come back and fix that. 100%. People ain't, they're not telling you on the news. They never told you about anything on the news. Like, the news is complete lie, right? It's all a lie.
Such dog shit.
They told you last time that it was going to be okay. So looking at this, right, it says here, according to Roy Morgan researchers, an estimated of 1.1 million Australians at risk of mortgage stress, the highest number since July 2013. And what happened in 2013? They just keep dropping the fucking interest rates, and we saw the biggest boom. 2013, we saw a boom. What on mortgage stress?
How far did it go down?
Well, it came down from fucking 725 basis points GFC down to 300 basis points. Then it went up by like 1% or 2% in about 2011, and then it came down from 2010 to just now, right? And it went all the way to zero. But next time, because they've gone up so high, they're going to have to do something really special to stop the big depression from occurring, right? You're going to throw a lot more at it. And that's where the fun's at. So, anyway, well, that's where
quite stressed.
That's where the interest rates drop. That's where there's a boom. The boom comes off this. Everyone looks at it as fearful. That's the opportunity.
No, but I
you
feel
asked about
like
opportunity here. What's the opportunity of the year?
Biggest opportunity in the industry, yeah. But I think being like, I wouldn't say I have a large portfolio, but I think because I have a smaller one, I feel like I'm half and half between normal people and in the investor. I feel like for people that have, say, 4 or 5 properties, well, for me, I'm actually thinking, which way am I going to swing? Am I going to thrive, or am I going to just
You'll be fine in the way.
this?
You'll be fine, right?
But the best that people don't know, right?
Well, you've bought properties at a neutral cash flow, positive cash flow. The interest rates go up. Oh, you know, it might cost me $20. We actually had this chat one day. Like, you're like, oh, they've gone slightly negative now, right? And so I put the fucking
slightly negative,
right?
Yeah.
But
no,
imagine
definitely.
being this lady with her house with the kids that you have to live in. It's gone up $500 a month or whatever. That's where people are going to hurt.
Yeah.
So, and they can't just go, oh, I'm going to make this person pay more. They have to cop it. Less they can spend at the movies, less they can spend at food, but they couldn't even go to the movies anymore because the cost has gone up too high. So you know, they stop going to those things, and then suddenly, well, there's a recession. They don't have money. They start going broke. They have to take more debt on.
Yeah.
They take more debt on. There's higher debt. They have to pass the debt cost on. And everything starts rising. Then they have to reduce it to try and save it, and cause the bigger problem. So anyway, this story goes on to talk about this. She's 50.
It's that line.
Says here, after making a phone call of her own, the broker found her an offer where she'd receive $4,000 cash back for switching her mortgage to a new lender. So if you play the cards right and you've got debt, let's say you've got, I don't know, 5 mortgages, you could go and refinance one from, I don't know, one bank to, I don't know, CBA and get a cash back, then refinance another one to Westpac and get a cash back. So you could literally refinance 5-year loans and go and get 20 grand deposit for your next property.
But what cost though?
Like
that obviously proves that the asset is the debt because people are going to buy your debt.
Yeah.
But are they fixing her into anything? If they're fixing her in
no. So you wouldn't fix it. I wouldn't fix it. Like,
no,
you know.
But for people like
but
this
you need to be
lady, she might not know this whole.
So you need to be careful, right? So this is something out of fear, right? I did a dumb decision. I said about this the other day, and I said that I fixed my interest rates in 2006 for 8.65%, so 865 basis points, so 8.65%. And I fixed it for 5 years because I thought, oh, it's going to go to 20%, listen to mum, listen to everyone else, and, you know, all that shit. And then they dropped. From that day on, they dropped, right? And the brokers will try and lock you in at a certain interest rate because then if they keep your loan for a period of 2 years, they don't lose their commission, right? So the brokers, anyone that says they've been fixed for 2 years from their broker broker is dodgy because they're trying to retain their cash flow. We don't fix loans at Zinger unless someone really begs for it. But why would you want to fix it when you're taking a bet against the bank, right? So if you are in a position, you know, what about if you could refinance some of your loans, get some cashback offers or whatever? Gemma can put you in contact with Rose or the team at Zinger, and that's what we do. That's what we do on a daily basis. And anyway, last little news article here. This one here is from AFR. You can see I've got the 12 FTIO. So if you want to get over a paywall, it's called the 12-foot wall to get over. So
Charlie sent me actually.
FT.io. And this one here's an AFR article that says here, Scott Morrison wanted secret ministry for FIRB powers. What is FIRB? So the Foreign Investment Review Board. So basically it says here, Deputy John Reid said the secret swearing in. So when there was a big kerfuffle recently, kerfuffle was the word I haven't used for ages, people up in arms about this, a big hoo-ha, right, about this ScoMo, he signed himself up to like 10 seats in Parliament, and basically he sacked everyone in Parliament, hired himself, signed some documents, and then sacked himself and put all the people back in, something like, I don't know, I'm not a political person. But it says here, ScoMo sought a secret authority over the Treasury portfolio in order to give himself a final say on foreign investment proposals, undercutting his treasurer, Josh Frydenberg. Internal advice prepared from the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet in April 2021 shows the Prime Minister wanted to be sworn in to control the Foreign Investment Review Board, part of 6 secret ministries. In an email to the Department Secretary Philip Gattigens, that's an interesting name. Gatens? I don't know. It's an interesting sounding name. A close confidant of Mr. Morrison, Deputy John Reid, said the secret swearing in related to FIRB, which scrutinises foreign takeovers in the national interest, including both economic and security insight. We're advised the Treasury swearing relates to FIRB, the Home Affairs swearing. Anyway, so it goes into talk about that, Foreign Investment Review Board. But why? What is the Foreign Investment Review Board? They made it difficult for overseas investors to buy years ago. And, people say, Asians are buying too many properties or whatever, they're pushing up prices. So it's like, they're the stories that they do, the media go, it's because of them. It's like it's very hard for, overseas people that aren't even migrants here to be able to buy these properties, right? They can't buy them. And if they do, they have to be brand new, and it's boost our economy. So basically they're injecting, if someone wants to buy from overseas, then they would be having to meet a specific criteria, which would be pushing up trade jobs and economy anyway. So it's a good thing. But, it's just interesting that why did he want to have the secret ministry over the Foreign Investment Review Board? And I think that's something that we'll start to see over next year. Some of the stimulus packages, so they don't necessarily relate to monetary things that occur. They relate to all different areas. It could be migration. We need more people paying taxes. We can't breed quick enough to put people in the system to then, pay taxes. So if we migrate people, it's a great way of us filling up housing, putting more demand on the system, needing to print more money to, all those sort of things. So interesting times to see in 2023. But I was told we should talk for a half an hour about some questions here, and the topic of discussion tonight, which was I forgot what it was. So yeah, let's go through them. Why should you buy and hold your investment properties? Right. So we see people call us up and they're like, I want to buy. How many people say they want to build a duplex or build something of that? Like, people call up and they have these great ideas and strategies and stuff.
Subdividing is a big one.
Subdividing how? Like, why is it so great?
Some people actually have their entire portfolio strategy as the end goal to subdivide.
Why?
I don't know. I have to be very respectful of cars.
Because it sounds good. Because Uncle Bob that has 2 properties told him to do it, or whatever the case may be. And that just seems like too much hard work for me, right? We've never heard people call us up and say, hey Gemma, I'm so happy I bought a property in 2012 for 200 grand. I sold it in 2015 for 350 grand. I made 150 grand. I nearly doubled my property. You don't have those calls. People are like, fuck, I sold 350. It's worth 800 now. I'm an idiot. I wish I bought more of those things. It's gone up so high. So I realise that the money is fake. The system is fake. The whole idea of debt and money is not real. So when you factor in, inflation to the asset in 5 years' time, 10 years' time. Why would you want to buy it? Ask any builder, any developer, are you happy with selling all your stock? Their business model is that they buy it, they build it, they flip it, but they're active investors, they're not a passive.
Yeah.
You and I are lazy fucks. We just buy stuff. We know how hard it is to get it. We don't want to sell it. No one's taking my asset.
I barely even file my bills, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't file my bills.
Yeah.
But I think as well what gets quite, not frustrating, that's the wrong word, but I still have the phone calls now that's like, I don't want to buy a unit, or I don't want to buy houses, or I don't want to buy I don't want this, I don't want that.
Because they don't understand the benefit.
Yeah, because they haven't understood that the property is completely irrelevant. And I remember the first time you said that to me about a year ago, and I was like, I can't even comprehend what you just said. I'm not even going to bother trying. And then it's just slowly come through, and I'm like, the bricks and mortar aren't worth anything really, and it's quite irrelevant.
If people couldn't get debt, the properties wouldn't be worth what they're worth.
Well, our savvy investors are getting pissed off now because they can't lend. Say for the interest rates.
Yeah.
So like my deal's shaky because of the interest rate. I was fine until that happened.
Yeah.
But they're annoyed because they can't get any more debt. Rather than they're not happy that they can't buy anymore. No one's happy when they can't buy any more property. Exactly,
right? But there's people that are scared and they're like, oh, I better hold off, right? But the market, there's these people that are scared because they're scared in their own mind, so they think the whole market's like that, right? You and I know that if I said to you, Jemmy, I'll give you $1 billion worth of debt today, just go buy 1,000 properties, you'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go on a fucking shopping spree, right? Yeah. We'll skip around Norwest Lake, we'll go, let's go, what are we going to buy? We'll buy this one and this one and this one, right? You do your fucking dance like you do in the car, right? And that would be, you'd be excited by that. But people can't get that debt, right? And I think where people get stuck, where they go, I'm going to subdivide, I'm going to buy it and build, or whatever the case may be, they're looking at two-dimensional, right? They haven't educated themselves on how money works. They haven't educated themselves on, okay, this is how everything works in the game. They're looking at the property as the end goal, right?
Yeah.
But let's say the market was to double tomorrow. The market doubles from, sorry, just a random message come through, making sure my mate's all right. So, yeah. So why is he texting me? Yeah.
Okay,
I think he's got the shits. He just texted me about something. He went for a big long trip to get
was
something.
Was it your fault?
No, nothing to do with me. He's just telling me something that's wrong with his day. So, with it, the way I see it is that if the market was to double tomorrow, right? People go, oh, I don't want to have units. Well, you could have 2 houses at 500 grand a piece that rent for $500 a week, or you could have 10 units at 5 units at 200 grand a piece that rent for $350 a week each. So you're getting $1,750 a week instead of $1,000. Yep. But that would enable you to buy another $500,000 on top. So if you could have $1 million worth of housing or $2 million worth of units, and you've got 10 sets of tenants instead of 2 sets of tenants. And now when the rents go up, you've got 10 sets of rents you can push up $100 instead of 2 sets of rents you can push up $120.
Yeah.
Right? So the question should be is if the market doubled tomorrow, would you want to take $1 million and double it to 2? Or would you want to take 5 million and double it to 10?
Yeah.
Or do you want to take 10 million and double it to 20? You want the asset base.
But I think people are romanticize having a portfolio. I think people think it's quite glamorous and it's quite bougie, like I own property. Like Jesus, you need to kind of remove yourself from the the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
Like getting stressed about having to buy an aircon, for example. Like you really need to remove yourself from that and remember about what you do with the money and with the debt. And that thing, like in 10 years' time, and it's like as much as people will complain, oh, this one's not big enough, or this one's not on the water, or this isn't facing north, or whichever way the sun comes up, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it's literally so irrelevant that sometimes it's really hard to drag people back up, and like, but you've got debt.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes a big disconnect, like, but you've got lots of debt.
I know when I speak to someone for a map session, right? I can tell with the first couple of minutes how the call's going to go, right? Because they'd be like, what are you trying to do? And they're like, I want to be able to pay off my house. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I need to buy a property and I need to flip it. And I'm like, okay, how's it going to make you happy, right? It's like, oh, because that's what it's going to do. And I'm like, hang on a second. And what I love seeing is that, when people get it and they You know,
Yes,
they wake up. They wake up and they're like, shit, like I've been looking at a rock.
But when it's slowly.
Yeah,
slowly. And not when it's like overnight. They're like, actually, Gemma, I totally agree with everything. I'm like, dude, it was a slow burn for me for 2 years.
Yeah.
But when they do get it, but it's when they ask questions or when they go, so having debt is going to get inflated when? I'm like, for the 17th time, yes, it will. But it is at school when they flip it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to do, is to educate them.
So I guess, you know, for buy and hold strategy, I often say to people, like, you know, intergenerational wealth, right? That's the big part, right? Like, I was chatting to one of our investors the other day. I've helped him for 14 years, right? And I helped him for 14 years getting his first property, and you know, he's got his dream house, family, all that. Got him like 20 properties or something. And I said to him, like, he goes, yeah, but I want to sell my properties, right? And I hadn't spoken for a while. We hadn't done anything because he bought a house, had kids, all that, right? And he's like, I want to go to the next level of my portfolio. I want to retire. And I was like, what do you want? And he goes, 100 grand a year. I was like, I'll fucking get you there by Christmas, right? And I think he's done like 2 or 3 unit blocks so far. One of Charlie's clients. And he goes, yeah, I want to sell the properties. Like, you don't want to sell them, right? You just want to hold them for intergeneration. He goes, yeah, but the kids, like, they can sort it out themselves, right? I want to sell them off. I'm like, no, I'll get you retired now, right? Like, you've got the ability and the means to be able to do it. But I look at when I'm doing deals, I ain't playing for me today, right? Like, I could just sell something, I could just take my cash flow, whatever. I'm just happy for the rest of my life, but it's a game. I'm not playing for, you know, my children or their children. I'm playing for their children, right? Like, this is intergenerational, and I want to make sure that my grandkids, and sometimes I sit there and look at life, and life is very short, right? Like, one thing that I've realised...
God, you are miserable tonight.
No, I'm happy, right? But it's like, you know, you got to enjoy it, right? And it's like, I'm looking at this like, wow, like, if someone can look back and go, like, I didn't know who my great-great-grandfather was, but he was like some fucking idiot when internet first came out, a rat's tail, and he bought heaps of properties and stuff. Like, I want to know that I'm setting up future generations. I ain't playing for me today. I ain't playing for children or grandchildren. Like, it's intergenerational, and I think... You know,
but do you think that comes from this whole exit in the matrix thing? You're edging the system for them.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't believe, like, who'd want to send their kids to a school or you know, participate in anything like that. Like, when you send a kid to a school, like, you're sending him into an indoctrination camp to then be brainwashed on how to be a good tax slave again. Like, someone has to break the cycle. And I look at it that, okay, I can be the one that can break the cycle, and then they'll be more alert. Like, no one gives anything away for free without a catch, right? There's always stuff when you do something, there's a benefit there in some capacity. And the system, 200 years ago, this schooling system and all this shit didn't exist, right? It's only now that it does because there's a form of control. And you ain't seeing anything good come from it either, eh? Like, they're not teaching you how to grow your own food, how to be healthy, how to have nice mental health, nothing like that. They're teaching whatever's being scripted and who's writing those scripts. Yeah.
I really enjoyed school, but I think it taught me a lot of... actually, I think I got a lot of skills. I definitely got indoctrinated, 100%.
Yeah. You could learn you could learn it, like, you could put a kid in a 1 day a week tutoring, right? Cut out all the fluff of cutting up a fucking dinosaur out of a picture or finger painting or something. You could send a kid to a day a week or 2 days a week for tutoring, and then literally find the information that's out there available on the internet, right? And educate them on whatever topic, right? Whether it be fucking paleontologist, right?
We've got to be careful though. Some people educate themselves of shit on the internet.
100%. But, you know,
so maybe balance it. My argument would be I would still send my kids to school, but I would have a balance on the outside where I would teach them external stuff. Because going to university taught me social skills, it taught me to stand on my own 2 feet.
True.
And you can't get there without doing everything else. So you have to be a level of academic.
Yeah.
Because whether we like it or not, the more academic you are and the more qualifications you have translates to more money in the workforce.
Let's go and find out where the Rothschilds or the JP Morgans or wherever they send their kids. What school do they send their kids to school? Where are the kids going to school? What are they being brainwashed to, right? What TV shows are they on, right? You ain't seeing the powerful people out there. The powerful people aren't showing their face. The powerful people are all behind the scenes. They have extra level of knowledge. They'd have the teacher come to them. I'd even pay for the teacher to come and go, this is your curriculum, you teach the kids that, right? That's something that, you know, I guess the freedom and the ability to do so. And everyone's doing this for a different story, and maybe I'm a bit screwed up now, maybe I'm too far out of the matrix, but I see the matrix for what it is, and that's just what it is. But intergenerational wealth is one. I guess the power of compounding effect, right? Like, you hold an asset and it goes up in value, and it doesn't really go up in value. It's the money's losing its value, so it's getting inflated away. Who wants to buy it, sell it, and then lose the value? Like, if you buy a property with the vision of selling it and making a profit that way, then you're saying you value dollars, money, over an asset, right? And it shows that you don't have a good enough understanding of how shit money is. That's the reality.
But that's what keeps me excited. So on those days where I'm calling you, like, I'm fucking done, I'm not doing it anymore, it's that leap. And it's from where we are today. So like with my parents' property, I don't know how much they bought it for, but I imagine it was, let's call it £80,000. I have no idea. And so then today it could be, I'm just making numbers up, it could be 300,000. But it's not because, like you said, the asset hasn't grown. Like, the area could have gone, it got a bit better, whatever.
But everything went up.
But it's that inflation, and that's what keeps me, that 40-year gap. That if it's shit today, and it's painful today, and we don't understand it today, but in 40 years, I want to be able to look back and go, well, I'm glad I stuck in there, rather than giving up because I had to put paint on the wall, or I had to do this, or I had to do that.
I actually had this idea today. I saw Linda, and we're in a meeting, right, with Linda, right? And I said to Linda that I wanted her to sell one of her properties, and I wanted her to redo her portfolio, and I wanted her to retire next year. Right? Not leave the company, but I wanted her to be able to go, cool, we're going to give you a point to retire now. And like, Linda's put up with shit days in her properties and all those sort of things. Things go wrong.
She's put up with you for 10 years.
She put up with me for 10 years, right? Literally, I've got 2 staff that have been with me for 10 years this year, right? It's
unbelievable.
Really unbelievable. They put up with me for 10 years, right?
I'm not sure if I can, you know.
How long has it been now? It's been a few.
Nearly 3.
There we go.
This is my longest job.
30% of the way there. 30% of the way there.
I don't say it like that. It makes me feel old.
Yeah. I've got to find out what I've got to get staff for a 10-year anniversary, right? They get long service leave, but I think I need to get them.
How long's long service leave?
I don't know how it works.
Can I get some early? Or?
No.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
We can brainstorm
10 years.
gifts.
Imagine 10 years, Gemma. Wow, that'd be fun.
But that's 20 years of experience.
That's 20 years of experience,
in different angles.
These are people that have got double-digit portfolios themselves.
Let's go.
Yes.
I thought it was just.
No.
Keeps that quiet, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He didn't have English when he came in. I'm sure he didn't. His English was bad. There's someone else, not going to show his name, he's behind the screens, the guy. But yeah, he's grown. Like, we've grown together. And if these guys can do it, then why can't other people do it, right? And they were clients before they came on. Literally, my staff that have got double-digit portfolios were clients and then came on as staff. Yeah. So it wasn't like they came here and got a secret recipe.
How many done the opposite like me? Became a staff member and then did it?
Oh, nearly everyone else.
No, everybody else.
Yeah. But they were like years ago. Like, it was just like, oh, we'll get our clients and come on board. So yeah, looking at it, when you're buying a property with, like, for the buy and hold, like, you've got recurring rental income, and that income just continues to go up. You saw Linda's face in the meeting today where she goes, oh, what, I've got $60 a week extra rent. It's like, yeah, that's for one, but what about the rest?
If you've got 20.
There's fucking 20 times $60. There's $1,200 a week.
But you know what?
60 grand a year.
What gives me confidence is if you get to a 20 property portfolio, even if you can only put it up by 10, that's still $200 a week.
Beats coming to the boss and asking for a pay rise now, doesn't it, Gemma?
When is that going to happen, by the way? I mean, inflation's going up, Nathan. You say it yourself. Like, when are we going to get our pay rise? No?
Maybe we need to skip over to the next reason.
Any of my clients that are watching, feel free to pitch my idea.
We've got here the appreciation of them. We're moving straight along.
That was a swift segue.
We're pushing up your rents, Gemma. Property appreciation, and obviously the hedge against inflation. And you talked about inflation. You're building a portfolio. I'm giving you why would I give you a fish when I can teach you how to fish and you can feed yourself forever, Gemma? You know?
Sorry, I watched a video this week about a shark that bit through a kayak. And every time people mention fishing, I get this. And there was another one. There was a woman in Hawaii. Oh, some of the people don't know about me. I am terrified of the ocean, and I don't know why I moved to Australia. But she was going to the marine biologist. She went to like go in the water to do the marine shit.
Yeah.
And a tiger shark, as she put her head in the water, a tiger shark came up. Like her goggles.
I've caught 2 sharks this year. There's something you haven't realised. I've been fishing twice, just randomly fishing off some rocks, and caught some fish opposite my house on the coast.
What kind of sharks?
Fucking a wobbegong and a shovel-nosed shark. I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. A what?
A shovel-nose.
No, the first one.
A wobbegong.
A wobbegong?
Yeah.
You're telling me that's called a wobbegong?
Yeah.
Are you taking the piss?
No, it's called a wobbegong. Why?
That's like the whole drop bear thing. You find a foreigner and you take the piss out of them and you tell them all this stuff that's happening.
No, it's a wobbegong. Google it. It's real. You look it up like later.
I'm going to write that down.
Wobbegong. I don't know how to spell it. I have to phone. I literally. So Ridwan is a fisherman. And
is he?
Yeah, he loves it.
I
right?
would never have pegged Ridwan as a fisherman.
He's a fisherman, like
but I
fisherman.
expect like string vests and a tinny and.
No, like you'll find that there's actually a lot of Muslims that'll be like heavy-duty fishermen. They just love going out as a fishing. It's their thing, and he just loves fishing. So, yeah.
I've never ever seen a Muslim fisherman.
No, they love fishing. They love fishing. So they always go out fishing. I don't know about all of them, but I know a lot of them that
Let's
do.
be careful not to stereotype.
Yeah, we're not stereotyping. But I call him up. I literally FaceTime and go, "What the fuck is this?" And he's like,
Really? It's
"Oh, a FaceTime with a big fish." Right, but
oh God.
But yeah, anyway, I don't know the difference between. I see dolphins all the time. Like my place is in a
Please
dolphin.
do not say you don't know the difference between a dolphin and a shark.
No. When the sun goes down, you can't tell the difference. You can only tell like by the fin hanging out of the water. They look like a dolphin, or is it a shark? Right? Sometimes there's sharks, sometimes there's dolphins. Right? I go and swim out there, and only like from here, like 10 meters away, like literally, like come up that close to the shore. It's like a shark sanctuary and a dolphin sanctuary.
Aren't you like a germaphobe?
Yeah, I just go in the water.
Why are you going in the ocean?
I only go a little bit.
It's disgusting out there.
I don't know. It's a big wide world out there.
Anyway,
We digress.
we've digressed. Go ahead.
When should you sell your investment properties, right? Never. Well, there's sometimes. I had someone ask me today, surely you've bought, Nathan, you say that you bought over 15,000 properties for yourself and other people in the last 12, 14 years. We're going on 14 years of business this year, Gemma. 14
Jesus.
years. Yeah. He wasn't around then, but B.Invested was. So, yeah. But his guy asked me, he goes, surely some of the properties are better than others and which one performs and all that. And I was like, look, I'd say 90% of them have done really well. 100% would have done great. Yeah. But you can't pick which one will. And I've got some property. I've got a property I'm selling at the moment. It's in a really shit housing commission area, like real house of hell, right? It's bad. I bought like 10 properties out in the suburb years ago. I paid like $2,000 for a block of land and $5,000 for a house that had been torched and stuff like that. I got them rented. One of them's gone up, like it's renting, used to rent for like $100 a week. Now it's getting $350 a week. Put on the market, selling it for 200. For years it's been sitting at 50. I bought it for like 20, right? And I'm just like, I couldn't be bothered with the admin, right? I literally at a point where I'm like, I just want to, it's just admin. It's just, get rid of that thing, right? I'm happy. I don't think it's going to be worth more than that in the future. I think I'm going to look back in 10 years and go, well, shit, that was the opportunity, that was the peak of it. And I just think I can do better things nowadays. So there is occasionally when I sell things. I sold a house this year. Here's the other thing, right? Some of our clients over the years have bought a property for like 200 grand. They bought 3 properties, right? Let's just say. One's 200 grand, one's 300 grand. Let's say they're all the same price, 250k a piece. One might be in Brisbane, one might be in the Gold Coast, one might be in Sydney. And they go, well, the Gold Coast one has tripled, so that's a good one, and I'm going to sell the one in Sydney or Brisbane, right? It's like, hang on a second, that property hasn't taken off yet, right? But the one that's gone up from 250 to 750, I ain't seen that go any higher, right? The chance of the other one to go up is great, and they don't go up all at the same time. So when it's a good time to sell, like I sold a property that I bought for 300 grand for 1.2 million. I cleared 900k, and that went towards buying my dream home. Well, my dream home for the day was a 4 mil house. Because how the fuck do I pay for my house? I used my investment property. Will I look back in 5 years' time or 10 years' time and go, will that thing be worth $2 million? I can't see it being worth $2 million. It had served its purpose at that point. Yeah. And the property that I bought, I think could be worth 20 to 30 mil. Really easy. Because I can chop it up. And, at times, I don't like selling properties. I sold in the last, 5 years, I've probably sold less than 10. properties in 5 years. And it's like, it might seem like, I sold 10 properties, but really, I'm buying them fucking every week. So, you lose some here, it doesn't matter. So I don't like selling. But I actually look back, there was a point when I got stuck about 2017, I got into a bit of a pickle. I was settling all these properties, I didn't have any money. And
call that a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, I had 10 mil to come up with.
To find 10 mil out your ass.
It's different. Like nowadays, I'm like, it's all right. Well, I'll tie my rat's tail back and get on my knees and do whatever I have to do, right?
Flick it now.
Flick it back,
walking,
right?
Like Pretty Woman.
But back in the day, that was a big hurdle to overcome, and I did sell off a few properties, maybe like 10. And out of those 10, 2 I regret. The rest of them are probably worth the same amount today as what I sold them for, and that we've seen the biggest boom ever, right? So I do sell if it's with a purpose, but I don't like to sell. Like, I think that 95% of the time you look back and go, I wish I didn't sell. And all our investors that have sold over the years, they're like, shit, I wish I didn't sell.
But then would you not argue that that's allowing emotion in? If you were to truly look at it as a game, and you may have sold it too soon, fuck it. This may not have grown, and it might never grown, fuck it. Like, if you actually get to the point where you're just moving and redirecting the debt, for example.
The funds.
Yeah. And okay, you might have sold the Gold Coast a bit too soon. If you sold the Gold Coast last year, you'd be killing yourself now. But it's forget it. Like, yes, it's annoying, but you've just redirected.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, people just go, oh, well, the one that's gone up's better, we'll sell the one that hasn't gone up.
No, I know.
When would you sell something? The point when I would sell it or consider or go, okay, there's some value, is this thing is at the end of its cycle to go up. It can't go up. How can it, if the people there can't afford it?
Okay, question then. Yeah. Even if it's at the top of the cycle, surely with inflation, it's going to have more currency attached to it anyway?
Yeah, that's why I don't like selling it. The only time I would is if I need to sell something. Only time I've sold a property, there's 2 reasons why I've bought and sold a property, maybe 3. The first one is that I've bought the property, I haven't had money to buy the thing. Say Gemma has 200 grand in the bank account, just making up hypothetical numbers. Gemma's like, yeah, great.
Chance to be a fine thing, yep.
Yeah. But where I'd sit there and go, okay, you got 200 grand, you're scared to do a deal. I don't have any money, I've just bought too many. I've got this property here, I can make 50k on it tomorrow or 100 grand on it tomorrow. Buy it, sell it, and I'll split the profit with you, right? So I've bought it with the purpose of selling. It's the only time I've sold, right? Apart from when I've pushed myself too hard and I need cash, or I've found an opportunity which I can redeploy funds at. And these funds are only coming from an asset where I've gone, hang on a second, there's a massive bubble here, like a hype. We're buying properties every day for our investors that are cheaper than what they were 10 years ago. Why? Why do we buy properties cheaper than what they were 10 years ago? Because some person came in a fucking hot market, in a heated market with FOMO and goes, oh, I better buy in here, right?
Listen to the media.
Listen to the media, listen to their friends, listen to the hype, getting sold by a salesperson, whatever, and they've paid a stupid price. If I'm selling a property, 95% chance it's at that time of the market, right? So I'm not sitting there going, oh, well, it hasn't done the great thing, so I may as well, because I can go, okay, and sort of prognosticate and go, its day's coming, right? You can't buy a property for 100 grand and not think it's going to go up, right? At 100 grand, you can't build it for that. The cash flow is so good. The pent up demand, there's lots of things that are pushing that thing up. So I've only sold it if I've bought it with the purpose of selling. If I've needed the cash because I've got something that's more pressing, that's like a dead set still, or as I said today, I'm literally just selling a couple because it's more of an admin thing than anything. Because I'm like, I just couldn't be bothered, right? Well, I've seen this thing for 10 years, it's quadrupled in value, right? More than quadrupled. It's gone up like 8 times or whatever its value in that period of time. 10 times, 8 to 10 times its value. I'm like, it's gone up crazy. I can hold it. It'll be maybe worth more, maybe not. But I'm just going to be bothered with like hearing about a tenant left and they got trash because it's in a rough area. So I don't have things in rough areas. I had them in rough areas. Those areas have cleaned up. Some of them haven't cleaned up. I'm like, hang on a second, I don't care. I don't want it. So yeah.
But even that, one of mine's in a nice area, and someone took a lead pole to his own mother's car in that block, and that was a really, really nice area. Okay. And I've got areas that on pen and paper are meant to be rough as arseholes and absolutely not a peep out of it.
Rough as arseholes, okay, I never heard that one before. So
people have preconceived ideas, and they'll allow those preconceived ideas to determine their financial decisions, when it can be completely the opposite.
Yeah.
Like you don't know.
Opinions don't pay the bills.
No.
Opinions don't pay the bills. So some other reasons, people do consider selling. We actually had a client of ours. I'm just going to write a little thing here.
Yeah.
So we had a client that their property was bought 2 years ago in their super fund. It was 200 grand. It's now worth like 350. They put 50 into it. The 0150 it's worth 350. They could sell it, pull out, maybe buy 3 more. They can't pull their equity out. They're like, there's no tax in the super, like very little tax. Should I sell it? I was like, hang on a second. You've actually got a good point there, right? If you sell it, you can then go and replace it with 3 more. It's driven its purpose. Yeah. It's got to a level. In the future, I believe that you'll look back and go, fuck, it's gone up from 350 to 500, but that's enabled him to buy 3 more,
and they're going to
go up as well.
Yeah.
So, a realignment of assets and asset allocation. Maybe if you've changed your position, you're like, hang on a second, I'm at the end of my journey and I want to just retire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Linda, I'm sure she just walked in the office, and I know she was in the upstairs office, and I think she's come down to her office. I said to her, block of land. I'm like, you ain't fucking built on it. That block of land, I looked the other day, I was like, you paid 200, it's worth 600, sell it, buy a block of units, right? Buy a block of units, there's an extra 50k a year income. Happy days, right?
And that must have been scary at the time, like paying 200k for a block of land. I've only seen us buy blocks of land for 10, at most 30 grand is what we've paid for block of land.
We were building house and land packages years ago, not the off the plan type of house and land packages. We had builders, we had the land, and the developers were in trouble, so they had to sell their land cheap to get pre-sales, to get their finance. So I'd go in and you'd have like 100 blocks of land. I'd say, look, I'll buy 50 of them off you. You're selling them at 400, I'll buy them for you at 280. And they'd be like, okay, we'll sell you 50 of them at that. They don't want to, but they know that then they can get the finance executed and they can go make their profit on the rest of them. So we're buying them at wholesale, and then now those things have gone up from like 280 to 600, 700 just for the land. But we built on them for 300 grand. So we're in them for like 600, and now they're worth 1.2, 1.4, 1.5. Hills District, all around here. But that market, the builders will be lucky to be around at the time it finishes the build, right? They take 2 years to build. Inflation's so high, the cost of it's gone up. The risk is so far attached to it. So, if you sell the land and make the profit on it, why even build? Just go move on to something better and buy something that's got value in it. So, there's that aspect of it. Some people come to us and they're like, should I sell my property? And I look at the assets that people buy, and they're not what I'd buy, right? So there's occasionally where I'll sit there and be like, no one has ever come to me and asked me, should they sell a property? And I've given them the advice. I sit there and I go, this is what you've got. If you weren't to have that, you could service for this, it would fix up your debt position, this is what you could do. And then they make their decision. But there's occasionally, like maybe 10% of the time, where I'd be like, look, that could be a good option, investigate it. And I actually was on the phone call to one of our investors today, having a portfolio review, and he pulled out like 400 grand of equity, right? Nice. He bought 3 properties. Three properties, right? And I asked him about them, and he had a 4th one, and he called me a year ago, and he was stressed and shit like that. He sold his Gold Coast property. I didn't know. I was like, fuck, this thing's gone up. You got an extra $250,000 there, right? But he'd sold it.
Especially when talking to you and having a portfolio review is literally free. Don't do anything before you speak to you. Not that you obviously are, but I'm gonna blow ego.
That's all right.
Yeah, but
I'll take the compliment to keep
that was a compliment, but I had to drag it out.
That's all right.
But yeah, literally, we got them to this point, and then suddenly they think, well, I'll just start making decisions now by myself. Yeah. Why? Get a second opinion and then make a decision.
Well, he did do that, so he did do that. But he felt it's the right thing to do, and I respect that. Sometimes if there's better investments out there, like what I was talking about, I feel like it's taken its turn. Some people will sit there and they know they've bought a dud. So we actually have a client, one of your clients, that's got the super fund situation with OnePath,
Yep.
And he had a property, he came to us, he bought 2 duds, they were off the plan. He bought them for like 500, they went to 200, right? They'd gone down to 300 grand. And he kept saying, I want to sell them, I'll sell them, I'll make a loss of 300 grand, I want to do that. I'm like, I actually like the area, he just got stitched up on something at a bad time. And I told this guy to keep it. In 2 years, it's caught back up because I saw that market recovering, and now he's getting rid of it.
Yeah.
And you'll get out of it with a 50 grand, smack across the head, but it won't be like
as
taking 300 grand like before. So, I actually tell people not to sell sometimes. This guy, if he had sold, he could have done a lot more, he could have bought more with us, but, we wanted to make sure he was not taking a haircut. Yeah.
And it's,
sometimes if you invest in some
and that's, I say to all my investors actually, before they become a client, it's like a buyer's agent. Yes, we're very good at what we do. Yes, these are all some really good stories. This is why actually, like we were talking about all the properties that we do. And it's always the unicorn deals, or it's even the ones that are really, really good, a big release of equity or whatever. But a buyer's agent cannot eliminate risk.
Yeah.
And I think people don't talk about that enough. Like, yes, we are very good, and we can build 20 plus properties in a very short period of time, and we can do all of that. But sometimes a property will not grow.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But if you have one property and it doesn't grow, we fucked it.
Sit on it. Yeah.
But if you have 20 properties, and even if 3 of them don't grow, you've still got 17.
But that 20 grand that went to 50 grand, I held it for 10 years at 50 grand, now it's gone up to 200 grand. I'm like, fuck, it did nothing. I can sit there and complain. It's like, I'm happy to let it go now, right? Like, I can do something better. I can, I don't know, pay some land tax for this year, right? Whatever the case would be.
But I also don't think it's highlighted enough that some properties aren't put in the portfolio
purely for
to
the growth.
do that.
Yeah.
They might only be there to pull out the 50k equity, and it's going to sit at that price for the next 10 years.
So we've got some clients that get stuck and they go, we can't service a property, right? And the property you buy, they're like, there might be 50 grand or 100 grand, they rent for 300 bucks, 400 bucks a week. They might have to buy them cash, right? Because the bank won't lend on it.
Yeah.
We're not buying it for the purpose that's the best deal out. But that person might have 300 grand in equity that they can't get out, but with that extra 300 bucks a week, 400 bucks a week, it'll unlock the equity so then they can do other things. So you need to look at the purpose. You can sell that property later, get your capital back. And 9 times out of 10, those properties that they buy for 50 are selling for like 100. We're seeing that we had 5 properties wrapped up the other day, off market, $87,000 each. And then now the owner wants over 100 grand, and those things were buying for 50 grand a year ago.
Yep.
So, it has its position. And I guess on that front, I notice we need to be mindful of time and all that. 3 properties that would be a highlight of yours this year. That if you could think of 3 properties that that some clients have bought, a story of what they've done with that property or whatever.
That land, I would say.
Which land?
23,000?
Yeah.
That you bought in as well, and so you kind of like paved the way. So you're going to sell yours.
Yep.
And
they're like 150k
it's
now.
150k now, but we bought them. It wouldn't even have been 12 months ago.
It was literally one of those hot deal things where I throw out on the internet.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll buy one. Like, if you guys want to be, if you're fucking all scared, I'll buy the thing with you, right? And I'll buy into these things, and my clients bought in, and now they've gone up, and
it was 23,000. One was 23 and one was 27, and I think one was, I don't know, 25, but 23 to 27. And I remember these ones.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea why I'm buying this gem. I'm like, just trust the process. It's
I
fine.
remember actually.
And there was like, I actually don't know, and they literally just went, fuck it, it's 20 grand. What is it? Well, it's worth the punt. They couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
And then I actually loved the phone calls. Like, do you remember that land that you asked me 4 times why you were buying it?
Sometimes people get scared because it's so cheap. They're like, oh, I'm scared about it. It's like, you just spent fucking $1 million on some properties and told you to go buy, and now you're scared of spending 20 grand.
20,000.
You thought more about your fucking handbag. You spent more about your dinner last week. You thought more, not people spending 20 grand on dinner. I've never done that. It's stupid. But like, yeah, it's a bit pushy, right? I did actually for the Christmas party, right? But it's like, people spend money on a car and a holiday or whatever, and it's like, fuck, like, you're worried about spending 20 grand, 50 grand, you're getting an asset, right? But it's hard for people to fathom that you can actually buy these things. So,
but do you know what I was thinking today when we were in the meeting with Blink? I think what actually gets people a little bit scared is that it's almost in the abyss. Like, I don't see keys. I don't see the aircon that I just bought. I'm not looking I can't touch the electricity box. It just cost me $4,000.
Sounds like it's a sore point there.
It is a real sore point. It's my 80,000 one. That
I know.
all this time I've been like, it hasn't cost me a penny. It's been really good. And then Ergon came and slapped me with a bill, and I was like, But anyway, you can't touch these things.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's good for the game because you're just shuffling money from different accounts.
Yeah.
But I think that's where the disconnect can create fear because, like, I don't have any keys.
Yeah.
There's nothing to actually connect it to.
Yeah. And then what other deals have we done this year? So
God, I didn't even
there's so many of them.
There were so many. Can you think of any?
I've done.
So many
there's so many deals we've done. There's so many.
Do you know why? I'll be brutally honest. Once the deal's done, it's almost like, right, okay, moving to the next one. Because I'm looking at it for the job that it's doing. I don't go back and dwell on it.
But when someone buys a property, I look at it, and I can't make these claims of this is what's going to happen, but I'm looking at that someone saying yes or no 50k. Right? When they're buying a property, they're pulling the equity out and they're pushing themselves into the next position.
What about the New South Wales one that we bought for? I actually don't even know the price point, but it rents for like 500.
Oh yes. I was like, I can't read your writing there. Yeah, that one there.
Sign of intellect, that.
You call it that if you wish. So on New Year's Eve, right? On New Year's Eve, I spent the day wrapping up that deal. There was 12 units in a row. It was a bulk deal. Bought them for 350 grand a piece. They're worth 500 grand. They're only 12 months old. They're in the outskirts of Sydney. Villa, rent for like $500-600 a week. Really booming sort of location. Lots of upside and potential there. That's a cool one. There's so many, like blocks of units. I was on the phone to someone yesterday, right? A year ago, I bought him his portfolio. So he's 4, right? He had one in the Hunter Valley. It was a unit for 120 grand. It's probably worth 300 grand now. Rents for like 250, which we can put up to 350. So 350 on a 150 purchase. He had another one in Cairns. He paid 112 for. It's probably worth about 190, 200 now. Rent for 350.
Didn't we buy something in Cairns this year for 80?
Yeah, we've got heaps of them. We're buying them still.
No, there was a different one earlier on in the year that I wanted to buy.
I can't remember. Yeah. And then there was, what was the other properties he had? One in Brisbane for 200. Worth 320 now. It's only like a 10-year-old unit.
Yeah, rents for 320 as well.
No, this one rents for 440 a week. This is different person.
Yes.
And he had a property for $59,000 that's now worth about 110. Rents for like 250, 260 a week. So, there's deals out there. They're still happening. Today I've got 6 deals accepted, right? So my investors are getting deals sent out. I've got the 12 days of Christmas for deals that are coming out. So over the next...
God, those days are manic. Last year was
12th
crazy.
Day of Christmas.
I don't know what 12 days is.
I don't know, but we'll find out, right? My deals I'm sending out daily over the next 12 days until Christmas. And
also, any investors that are watching, don't think Christmas Day is off the table.
Yeah, I send deals out. You will
get a Christmas present in the morning from Nathan, 3 o'clock in the morning. Wear a beard, we can call you the property Santa.
If I wear a beard, it's grey. I'm getting fat like Santa. I'll be Santa in no time. So yeah, I've got my fresh cuts. I saw someone said fresh cuts today, but Michelle said you look beautiful. Hey Michelle, how you doing? Well,
Michelle.
I was sitting there getting my hair cut today, and I looked at the fucking black thing that they put on you, and I was like, "Who's this old prick throwing their hair at me?" Right? It's just all grey, and I'm like, I cut it so short so it doesn't look as grey.
You can pass it off as blonde, I suppose.
Yeah, if it's longer, you can't.
Oh yeah, there is a patch like here.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Sheffield. Yeah, so I will be working over the Christmas period, very limited. I'll just be working with my closed group of investors. So if you are not an investor, reach out to Gemma, get prepared. I'll be sharing some of the deals online on a daily basis, just for the fun of it. And I'll be taking maybe 10, 15 people through. At Christmas time, people, they're stuffing the turkey, going on holidays, they're not doing things. People are still desperate to sell, and I'm hoping that we can get some good bargains. And as I said, I've got a batch that I've just secured today. We've been finding it really tough to get deals this year. It's getting tighter and tighter to get the deals, so it is a bit of a challenge. I'd love the market to crash. Like, I'd see all these articles, the market's going to drop. I'd love it to, because then we can pick up more shit on sale. But yeah, if you are interested, reach out. There's a link somewhere in the description. Reach out to the team, wherever it is.
Right? I think it's up. When they look at it, it's up. Yeah,
maybe. With it, reach out to Gemma, get booked in, make sure on Santa's Christmas list, big fat Santa with his big white beard if I grow one. I should have grew a beard just so everyone could see it. And
it would be white as well.
He's all white.
It would be white.
It's white like snow. Yeah, it's just, it is what it is. So I remember when I had pimples.
But it's ginger here. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, I get ginger. Like, I was actually said once, I was like, I can't wait for my beard to go grey. It's all fucking red. And then it's like me calling the kettle,
Yeah,
the pot,
just be careful.
Kettle. Be careful with what I say here. So yeah, I will play Santa, and you write in, if you're one of my investors that I work with on a regular basis, write into your investor relations rep as to what you would like over Christmas, maybe what your dietary requirements are, how much deposit you've got, what your lending is like, all that sort of stuff. And when things come up, I'll be in contact. I'll be from the beach, from the pool, from maybe in the caravan, travelling. I don't know what I'll be doing. I've got to think about it yet. But I know I'm going to go spend...
You've only got a week and a half.
I'm going to spend a few weeks at my holiday house, and then next year I'm doing the Birchie Big Lap. So Birchie's Big Lap. So keep an eye out for that. And make sure that you reach out, register. I will be working at that period of time. And with it, I will go through quickly some of these questions, and we will hop offline. And what I might do is, I've got some filming tomorrow, so keep your questions coming through, and I might put together some videos for over Christmas, like little 1-minute videos and reels or something, and then the marketing team can put them out there. So how accurate are the bank valuations on the website? Are you likely to get an official valuation of that price when you refinance to them? Depending on the bank, depending on how they value the property, depending on how, what sort of valuation model they use, depends on that.
Do you know, Pat, I'm sure you would have told this story, same property, 2 different banks, and the equity release was a difference of 100k.
Yeah.
$100,000.
Yeah.
I thought he was lying, but he obviously wasn't.
No. Katie, Birchie, you predict the boom coming when interest rates come down then? Is that what you mean? Yes. We will see the mother of all booms in all different areas, because the money will just be flowing around. Tom says, keep going with the politics. I could go all day. Lydia, I hope you're doing well there. Mark says, hey guys, are you having success lately getting reductions, discounts on existing loans? It's always difficult to get discounts, but do speak to the bank at their retention team. That may be able to help you out. If not, reach out to Zinger. But if you're stuck at your bank and you're stuck with them, you don't want to tell them you're stuck with them, but just be like, hey, another bank's offered me, and do what you can do with negotiating. Steve said, hi team, only just joined now. We'll catch up with the price stuff after. I will speak with you shortly, Steve. We've got to catch up with Denisha from Zinger. Rob, if you don't have digital ID, digital dollar, you won't be able to use the banks and receive rental income. Thoughts? Well, lucky I own the real estate office, and we can give alternatives, right? Maybe we could educate tenants on how to use Bitcoin. Maybe we could teach the tenants on how to go buy some silver and give you a little silver bar every week, right? Who knows, right? We can work within the system, work without the system. I'm very conservative with how much information I want to give to the system. Phil said, I'm interested in joining your team. How do I contact admin? Admin at B.Invested.com.au. If you send through emails to that email address, I've got a team of 10 people that look after just that email. They pull from that inbox, so do send an email, and we'll go from there. Stephen said, Nathan, I think you misunderstood my question in the last webinar. In the new system, when the CBDC comes in, will you still be able to predict the market as well as you do now, or will you turn into a new set? Will you need to learn a new set of rules? The whole world is changing. So yeah, if we go to central bank digital currency and certain things occur, we've got to learn. Like, it's a communist system. I think it's very communist, and I think it's going to be very ugly. So you want to have as much control of your own personal liberty and freedom before we do go into that system.
It's a bit scary, that.
Very.
Yeah.
Very. Jay said, can you talk about director IDs and what is your thoughts? My thoughts is I've delivered all of my information to set up whatever I need to set up. I'm very, very conscious of where I give my information to, and I'm not a fan of this stuff. So I wasn't a fan of this, and I don't go and put things into my body. I don't go and give away my data. So that is a part of that scary system, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't handle that.
Don't skip over that one. Josh said, I need to hit you up for a pay rise.
Thanks, Josh.
And Michelle said early long service leave. You can't ignore these
She's
ones.
laughing as well.
I think we should listen.
I think she's laughing. She's got a point. I think she's laughing, saying good luck, Gemma. Like,
no, I think she's laughing because she knows it's going to happen.
James laughing too.
Yep, see?
Gemma deserves it. She's amazing, okay.
See?
Yeah. It's drop bear season. Be careful in the bush. Carry an umbrella.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Kane says, great show supporting fresh cuts. Can even feel fresher cuts coming.
Nathan!
Where?
A-team on tonight.
Here we go. Good to see you, Nathan. Thanks for joining in. Hey, Nathan, do you have the same stance on interest rates, maybe a bit higher from here, but low in the long term? Yes, that is my view. Charlie says, great work. Keep up the good work, Nathan, Gemma.
Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie. Do you accept applications to join your team to work online? We're overseas. I don't know. I've never had that. I actually do have an offshore team, which is like sort of an actual office.
Like a skeleton crew for...
That does the offline hours and some general admin stuff. Kylie says Gemma's not going anywhere. Hey guys. Hey Kylie.
You have to go up. You've missed... There was a question.
Well, they just keep coming through.
No, she's explaining unicorn property.
No, Lydia asked, are you still getting properties under 180k in Brisbane? We got one the other day for $133,000. Do you remember that one?
Yep, 155.
155. And we just got another one the other day. We got some for 216. We got a whole block.
And 187 was that in?
No, we got a 195 and a 205 in the last month. So still gonna Gemma and Nathan. Hey Julianne, please explain a unicorn property. So some people think the unicorn one, it doesn't exist. It's it's a property which is like a very rare, it's a very special one, right? And I look at all the properties I get. Like when I look at, let's say I buy 100 properties, right? Out of 100 properties, we're talking about 5 million other properties out there. So they are really the ones that I see as the unicorns that are out there. So people are going, oh, well, I want the really unicorn one. And it's like,
yeah, that's where it's dangerous. People are waiting for that unicorn and they say no to other good opportunities because they're waiting for this one that ticks every single box. It's not going to.
Exactly. So on that note, I've got to go. I actually told one of my mates that I was going to catch up with him. I hadn't seen him for ages.
Did you tell him 8 o'clock?
I told him 8 o'clock I'd be leaving. And he's a lawyer, and he's not going to be happy. So on that note, I've got a jet. I actually realised we didn't put the ring light on today. We didn't put the ring light on.
Well, my head dazzles people enough anyway.
That's it.
It's the blonde streak.
That's it. So on that note, guys and girls, thanks a lot for tuning in. I will be on next week. I'll be reviewing a video actually from Lynette Zhang, which is a gold dealer in the US, and just reviewing and talking and breaking it down to how it would relate to property sense and all that. And I think people like the videos when I play a video and watch it. Like it's just a new little thing I was thinking of doing. And next year, my podcast studio will have like a whole wall of TVs, and one side of the TV. So I've literally got a TV set of 8 different sets for a studio, right? And I can just play stuff behind me and go, hey, what do we think of that? It'd be cool. Got lights coming down from the roof. You can move them around.
I don't know why I looked up.
I don't know either. But I'll be reviewing that. So I'll be on next week, and then I might take a little break over Christmas from this and just be working with my clients one-on-one. So if you do want to get onto that Christmas list, reach out to Gemma. The link is in the description. Send an email over. If you are one of my investors and I'm working closely with you, do let me know that you want me to find you stuff over Christmas, New Year period. I'll only be working with a handful of people, so make sure you get on that.
I'd recommend, if you are going to email Nathan, CC your admin email as well, because Nathan, you weren't on your emails for a few days.
Yeah, sometimes I don't get on
We weren't told, so we can follow up Nathan a lot quicker than looking at his emails, for example. So.
I was on my emails since 6 o'clock this morning, right? I've been going since 6. I'll get home at midnight, and I haven't even seen emails from yesterday or today. I've just been able to write emails to people on the things I need to talk to them about. So, do make sure that you reach out to the team as well and see them on it. And thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll catch up next week with heaps of cool stuff. Gemma might be on holidays. When are you going to be on holidays?
Yeah, so my investors, I'm going to be in the UK from Wednesday next week, but make sure you save my number in WhatsApp, and you can still contact me. I'll have my laptop and I can still jump on.
You should be working in the UK, so cool.
So I'm saying early service leave.
We'll catch up soon, guys. Have a good evening, and if you don't see me next week, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. But I will be putting out content over that period anyway. We'll catch up soon. Bye for now.